Hey everybody, I'm Latoya and I talk about faith, family, and business. And I'm worried about the lighting here in my other space. I probably need to bring in some more light, but I'm going to try to navigate through everything. Maybe give me just one moment because we need some more light. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. I'm going to try to go on and you all can let me know in the comment section if this works for you or not. Now, I just thought about a couple of things before I'm headed to bed, and I was like, what can I tell the people about if they're a single mom or a single dad and they have just suffered a layoff? What can you do? First and foremost, if you are new here, I'm Latoya. I talk about faith, family, and business, and we got to talk about layoffs. I have heard multiple people that I personally know that are going through layoffs right now. One of my very near and dear friends, she is suffering a furlough, but she told me that they are going to get ready to go back to work here shortly. And I'm like, that's good news to hear. But what about the people who are still on furlough and are suffering a reduction in force? What do you need to be doing? If you have a corporate America job and you have a few options as far as like 401k, I know that's not only the only option that you can do. Sometimes people don't like to touch their 401k and cash out, but that is absolutely an emergency. And so if you have access to it, definitely contact your provider who holds your 401k and see the different options that you can do to cash out. Find out all the back end processes as far as like the penalty for taking out the money, if any. And I know that there's like state fees and federal taxes, all those other things. So I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I give out financial advice, but this is just my own opinion. Okay, so first and foremost, you gotta just take it all in. Understand that going through a layoff is very difficult. I went through a layoff in 2024, but before that, I have gone through so many different life transitions, and I feel like it makes me more qualified to talk about this because I've lost it all and twice. First time I was going through a divorce, and so that was like a layoff, but it was more permanent. It was a life change. But this last time I went through a layoff, and it was absolutely a corporate America position, and it sent me in a tailspin. I didn't know what to think because as a mom who has a 20-year-old, a 14-year-old, and now a 13-year-old, at that time they were younger than that, but it was a very, very scary thing. And I was wondering how in the world was I going to navigate and be able to do different things for my kids? How was I going to be able to take care of my bills? What type of things were available for me? And thank God, I have to be honest with you all, I didn't suffer a long layoff. I actually found out in the month of July of 2024. They told me in the middle of July, and then they let me stay on till the end of August, and I had already gotten picked up from another position. I had to even ask the new position, could I take a week off and start like a week later to work, so I can at least get a week off before I jumped into my new position. So thank God I did not have to suffer a long layoff, but I have heard some people going through layoffs ever since January of this year, and my heart goes out to you all. So it's already October, and think about it. If they went through a layoff in January and it's already October, I can only imagine what that feels like, especially if they have like a more niche position and it's very hard to break into their position, or if they're not really hiring that often in that position. My heart goes out to you. So the number one thing I would say is take a deep breath and don't panic. This is not the end of the world, and you need to be able to sit with yourself, but not too long, because you got to get ready to jump into motion almost immediately. Like, just sit as soon as you find it out. And also, if you need some support, you definitely need to call on family, because family is more resilient in the very beginning. They have more of a listening ear in the very beginning of the process. Now that may change as time goes on, especially if you're going to start to need to borrow money from them. So lean on people in the very beginning. And I'm just being very honest. people's emotions change towards you when they have to start supporting you financially or just lending you funds. So when you get that notice, your emotions will be all over the place. I know when I was called into HR, and it was over a Zoom conference, and I knew when my immediate boss and my HR head had come on the camera and they had like a very solemn look, I knew that it was like, okay, what's about to happen here? I know it wasn't good because some other people had already suffered a layoff and a furlough, maybe about a few weeks prior, and I knew that the whole, you know how the environment changes at work. People are just like, well, like who's next? And that's how the sentiment was at our job. Like nobody felt safe anymore. Nobody felt happy anymore. We were just kind of doing our jobs so we can keep a job. So number one, don't panic. And now I have my notes here. Typically, I like to keep my notes kind of close because I want to make sure that I stay on topic, okay? So fear, anxiety, maybe even shame will hit you. And I want you to know that that's normal. But remember this, a layoff is not a reflection of your worth. It's a redirection, okay? So a layoff doesn't mean that you were fired. A layoff means that they were trying to trim the fat, the bottom line financially at that position. They may no longer need that position anymore, and they're probably trying to reallocate funds. So you did not get fired. You suffered a layoff. So this is not about your worth. Take a day or two to reset your mind before making big decisions. So I don't want you to like make life changes just in that moment because it may be the worst decision of your life. Like take a day or two and get your thoughts together. If you pray, I want you to go and pray. If you just need to go for a walk, if you need to talk to a few family members, a few friends, to just kind of give their advice, go and do that. But take a moment to think and sit with yourself, okay? Number two, review your finances. Now, this is something that I want you to start doing regardless of a layoff or not. You need to start paying attention to your finances. Do you have anything saved up? Do you overspend every single month? Are you living beneath your means or are you living way over your head? Like, for example, if you've got like a huge bill for like your rent and your mortgage, you got to start thinking about that stuff. Start to try to save some money, put some stuff to the side, allocate some more money to your 401k because you're going to be able to use that and pull on those resources when and if time comes, okay? So pull out your budget and look where your money is going. Take a look at it. I know it can be painful. Maybe you can do one less brunch per month. I know that, brunching is like a huge thing in Atlanta. So people go out to brunch. They do that on Sunday mornings. They brunch, and brunch is not cheap. So if you can look at your finances and kind of see where you are and what you need to stop doing, I need for you to pay attention, okay? Now, ask yourself, what are my essentials versus what can wait? Now, there's a difference, and you know what your essentials are and what your kind of likes or wants are. When I was dealing with a client previously, I was trying to let them know, they were saying, oh, my child is in private school, and my spouse wants to keep the direct TV. I'm like, sweetie, you can go to Best Buy and get a Chrome stick or a Roku, and if you have something like this, a MacBook, you can AirPlay your shows from your computer and route through your Roku, and you can call it a day. You can run your shows through your computer and run it through your TV. You have so many different things. Get a Roku, get a Google Chrome, but don't live above your means. If it is something like a direct TV or something that you're having to pay for every single month, cut that expense. And if it is something like a private school, I know you may want the prestige or whatever for your child, but sweetie, if it is above your means, let it go, or go and talk to the school and see if they have any scholarships available or economic hardship that things that you can put in place for your children. Now, my kids are at cyber school, so I don't have to worry about a bill for them to go to school. Our school sends resources to us as far as like the laptop. And if you fit the threshold, if you're below the threshold for like needing economic help, then they'll be able to send like hotspots for the internet, and then you'll be able to get other resources as far as food is concerned, even if you were in online school. So make sure that you can take a look at your budget and go from there, okay? And cut out what is unnecessary. If you've been living paycheck to paycheck, now's the time to cut unnecessary expenses and stretch every dollar strategically. Cut it out, okay? So number 3, access your 401k. Now, I've mentioned this before in another video. Your 401k is your resource. Don't feel bad about using it. But once again, I'm not a financial advisor and I cannot give financial advice. So definitely talk to your financial advisor or the provider who holds your 401k to see what is available to you. You already know there are penalties that you have to pay, as far as like, it may be of course, you have to pay your taxes, like the federal and state taxes in some cases. And you want to go ahead and do that immediately, like off top. And I think some companies, they already take that money off top anyways, because you don't want to have to worry about that on the back end. Let them take out what they need to take out from your finances. Now, many people forget they have money sitting in their 401k or retirement account. I know. You're like, oh, I'm messing with my retirement account, but it's your money and you are in an emergency and you need to be able to live now because you want to be able to make it to retirement. You don't want to suffer anxiety, stress, stroke, or whatever else to try to get to retirement. Access your funds now, okay? That's, after you get the financial advice from someone who is qualified to tell you a little bit more. Now, you may be able to roll it over, withdraw with a hardship clause, or borrow against it depending on your circumstances, okay? A lot of times, if you've gotten furloughed or laid off completely, that constitutes as like a termination, and you'll be able to get a higher amount, but definitely find out from your provider what they say that is. Always consult a financial advisor to avoid penalties. Number 4, file for unemployment immediately. Don't delay applying for unemployment benefits. Like, don't feel bad. Like, you're like, oh, well, I feel bad about this. I'm embarrassed about going to file for unemployment. You're laid off. You have bills. There are resources. Go and use them. The process can take time. So you need to go ahead and get the process started. Like, as soon as you hear about your layoff, I need you, if it's on a Friday, you need to go down there on a Monday morning. If you can do something online, I need for you to go ahead and start it that Friday and then go down to the office on that Monday. Do not delay, okay? Most of the time I hear about severance packages. Some companies will provide a severance. And most of them will, if you've been there for at least like a year. And sometimes even if you're there like right below a year. Every job is different, but I would go in and ask for what's available. Excuse me. Even if you think you might get a new job soon, file anyway. This goes along with unemployment. It's better to have help coming in than to wait until it's too late. Now, with me, I'm just going to be honest. I already knew that I was hired at my new job before I even had a chance to even finish up with my old job. Like I told you, my last day at my previous job was at the end of August in 2024. I was already hired, and they were going to start me at my new job on September 4th. I would have had a weekend and a couple of days to start my new job, okay? But I asked for a week off. So I didn't even have to go through unemployment. Thank the Lord. I'm not bragging. I'm just letting you know you have to go by your circumstances, okay? Number 5. Update your resume and LinkedIn. Now, it's a huge thing. I need for you to never stop networking on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is going to be that resource that you need to stay plugged into. Stay plugged in to LinkedIn always and forever. LinkedIn is that resource that You should be talking to people 5 days a week on LinkedIn, and maybe even on a Saturday. Talk to people, connect with 5 people, 5 new people per week, or be engaged with 5 people's posts every single day. So Monday through Friday, you need to engage with at least 5 people's posts, different people's posts. Leave comments, send a reaction, because it's going to keep you in the algorithm on LinkedIn. If you stay relevant, you're going to remain necessary, because when it's time and when people are considering new people, they can probably consider you, and you can put out information like, hey, I have just suffered a layoff. I need your help. Okay. Does anybody know of any open positions? Don't get ashamed. Don't get afraid. Go ahead, because you need the help, and put it out there. I have seen multiple people say, hey, I just suffered a layoff. I need an opening. Does anybody know of anything? People have gotten many job offers just by being very transparent. And then change that little banner around your picture and say open to work. Put it out there. Tell people what you qualify as, and then you need to update your LinkedIn. Remember some of the things that you've done at your current job, and then go back and just kind of remember and update over time while you're at work. Update your LinkedIn over time. Update it. If they added in a new responsibility for you, update it on your LinkedIn. Do not wait until you need a new job, okay? Now, here we go. List your skills, projects, and achievements. Update your LinkedIn headline to something like open to new opportunities, or tell them what industry you're in, and then start networking. You'd be surprised who's hiring or who can make an introduction to your next employer. And I'm going to stop at 6. Explore side hustles. Now, I'm the queen of side hustles. I'm going to forever have my hand in something else other than my full-time job. I just feel like in this day and time, especially after we went through the pandemic, I will always have something in my back pocket, because I was deemed non-essential. But then I also had a side hustle that made me essential. I got my behind out there and did Uber and Lyft and Instacart. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say to anyone, if you need to have your hand in a side hustle, I need for you to go ahead and sign up for those websites now. Sign up for Uber, sign up for Lyft, because when tragedy hits, or let's just say if we ever go back through something like that again, people are going to be flooding to those websites. You need to already have your name in the hat. Put your name in the hat immediately, so you won't be kicked out or have your name on somebody's wait list. Start now. Like, even while you are thriving and on your job now, go and sign up for those websites. It is a horrible thing to need something and not have access to it, when you could have prepared before and have it and not need it at that moment. Please go and sign up. So consider remote call center work. Like, many flexible and home-based companies are out there. I know there's companies like Arise Virtual Solutions and also Live Ops. You have please try freelancing on Fiverr and Upwork. I used to do things on Fiverr and Upwork, and I've made money on both. If you have different skills, you can help people. Do affiliate links. There are so many companies out there that you can make commissions from affiliate links. If you're buying different things on TikTok, put it on your TikTok shop and promote it. Start an Etsy shop. You can do Instacart and DoorDash. Now DoorDash is changing just a tad, because they're coming out with their own robot, which is going to take a lot of people's jobs as far as deliveries is concerned. So put your name in the hat for multiple companies that are out there. And then remember, side income equals survival income during transitional seasons. Okay. So if you all have any questions, if you like content like this, please let me know. I'm Latoya. I talk about faith, family, and business. And this is what to do if you are faced with a layoff. Okay. I'll talk to you soon, and bye.